Howdy, it's Brian here. I'm testing out a new camera. It's not the greatest camera in the world, but see if it does any better than my cell phone. It doesn't allow me to put the continuous flash on, but anyhow, we'll give this thing a try. This is a little Nikon P7000, but this is a little quick review I'm going to do. I just got this Stingray, and I don't think there's any video out there on this thing yet. This is the Stingray SR1, this particular model. Comes in a retail packaging like this, kind of. You got this cheesy little box here that's connected to the paper, by the way, so you can't separate it very good. I've got 3 or 4 Crimson Trace units, you know, what can I say? If you can get a Crimson Trace for your gun, go that way. That'd be, unfortunately, this, let's try a little telephoto action here, brother. Let's see here. How's that doing? Not too bad. Anyway, there's the little FN, Break National. It has no way to put a Crimson Trace on it because you can't put the, the grips on this gun because it's polymer. So there's the SR1, as you'll notice, even though it's approved on the list. Not quite sure why that autofocus isn't working. That's not in very good focus, is it? Anyway, that's the little Stingray laser, and it sticks off the end of the gun, even though it's on the approved. It says it fits on the list. Out there on their website, you can see it hangs off the end. Called the guy, said, "Oh well, that's not a huge deal." He said you can exchange it, which I don't really want to exchange it. That's the problem. I want it to work like this. Yeah, I was hoping to get a little better focus out of this new camera than I'm getting, but it is what it is. So anyhow, that's it. It hangs off the end of the thing. Also, I'm messing around with this camera so much, you'll have to forgive me. I know this video sucks, but kind of trying a new camera out here and focusing on problems I'm having with it more than I am the video. So seems like the focus of this is about as close as I can get her to focus with this f-stop. But that little Stingray unit, it's like I said, if you can get a Crimson Trace for your gun, go with it over this Armalaser. That's my opinion. I haven't really shot it yet, but see, we'll put it up here on the wall and give you an idea what it looks like here. It's kind of hard to turn on, but there it is. You'll notice because of the way the thing works, it's going to be in focus at a certain number of feet, and then it's going to be out of focus anywhere else because it's not lined up real good with the sights. It's quite a ways from the sights, so wherever you adjust this thing in at, that's where it's going to be most accurate. They recommend, I think, setting it for about 20 feet or something like that. But anyhow, I thought this thing, the way this looks here with this little grip thing here, I thought you could squeeze that and slide this laser on and off, but you can't. You have to bolt the thing on. It's got a little screw. It's got a little screw. I'm going to see if I can prop this gun up here and show you. But yeah, it's got a little screw in there. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it right in front of the lettering up there. That's the bolt, the little lock nut. The screw's on the other side here. That's the screw. Is right in there, and it's kind of a hassle to put it on. It's not too bad, but you know, you can lose this little nut when you screw it on. You better have little teeny screwdrivers. I'm going to tell you right now, because you think that's small, wait till you jack with this little teeny screw here on this battery cover. I'm telling you what, brother, you better have your reading glasses on to work with this puppy. And you know, they give you one extra in the package, but if you try to use anything other than like a jeweler's Phillips head on this, you're going to burr it, and you're going to jack it. You're going to, you know, goober it all up to where you can't get it out of there. I'm also concerned about it coming loose during operation. Of course, like I said, I don't have any experience shooting it, but I'm concerned about it, and I'm concerned about putting Loctite on it, because that small of a screw, Loctite is not really designed to use. I mean, you put Loctite on there, you're going to have to put just a minuscule amount, because otherwise it may hold that screw in there to the point where you burr that thing out without, and you won't be able to loosen it. You only have a certain amount of torque you can put on this little teeny screw head. And Loctite is designed, you use different strengths, and it's based on the size of your screw is what you base the you know, what strength of Loctite you use, and not really designed for a screw this small. So a little bit hesitant to put the Loctite on there for fear that I'm going to not be able to get the screw out. I'm going to burr the head off trying to get it out of there. So I'm going to go up and shoot it at the range and see if I have any trouble. I called Armalaser and told them my thoughts on this thing, and explained to him I wasn't overly excited about it. I suppose for this, like I said, I don't have a lot of experience with this particular type of laser. I mean, maybe as these bolt-on that go on the Picatinny rail, this may be probably as good as any of them out there. But as you can see on this little FNP, it doesn't fit real good. I'm concerned if the gun gets dropped, you know, and it hits that laser, you know, whether it's going to get broken right off of the rail. The guy at Armalaser says, no, it's been tested, that won't happen. And I'm certainly not going to test it with my pistol and my laser, but you know, you got to wonder. I'd make sure that it fits on your gun the way it's supposed to. Another thing is this thing you turn it on with is like a rocker switch, and it like pops through to this side, and then you pop it back through to the other side to turn it off. And if you have this in a holster and there's not something up against the back here, then any pressure on your holster or anything over here on the outside is going to turn this thing on inadvertently, which is going to leave you with a dead battery. I complained about that too, and he said, well, when it's in your holster, there should be something up against the other side that keeps it from going that direction. But in other words, the holster on the back side here would theoretically keep it from moving and turning on, because the whole rocker switch slides when you, I don't know, cheesy. Not wild about it, I get, you know what I mean, but they've been making lasers a long time, so maybe I'm being overly critical, but after using Crimson Trace lasers, you know, and they're I did get a hold of their tech support guy, and he was friendly enough. He's going to send me an extra screw for that battery cover. You know, we talked about it a little bit, and he was nice enough, but they don't answer their phone when you call. The phone just rings. You know, they don't answer the damn phone, so you got to wait for him to call you back. It was about 3 hours for him to call me back, but he did call me back the same day. And I talked to him about it, so you know, you just can't get it. They don't answer their phone, you know, like Crimson Trace. You know, and Crimson Trace gives you free batteries for life. One set a year they give you, and I've got the original set in all my Crimson Trace units. I've got one on my little Kel-Tec's 2 years old, and that turns on every time you grip the handle. You don't have to do anything to turn it on. But anyway, so that's a little SR1. Seems like the LED's bright enough. It's as bright as a Crimson Trace. It's not a bad look. Like I say, the profile's low on it. I would, if you're concerned about it sticking out the front like that, and I am kinda, but I suppose I'd rather have it on there than not have it on there. It's nice to have a laser. So I'm going to go shoot it and stuff and If I don't like it, I can swap it out for the stubbier one that's shorter. The problem with that is I don't know, I can barely reach the turn on switch with my index finger now. And if I get the shorter, stubbier one, I'm afraid I won't be able to reach the switch to turn it on with my index finger, so I don't know. But it's an okay laser. It's got windage and elevation adjustment on it. You know, like I said, but this thing basically bolts on here, so it doesn't slide on there. It bolts on. You take one side of the, basically one side of this unit comes off. Take that screw out and then one side pops off of it. Then you put it on the rail and then you put that side back on, which is kind of hard to get it to line up and pop back in. And then once you do that, then you put your screw back in. Make sure you don't lose the nut on the other side when you're doing that. And then tighten her up. And that's what holds it on there, and it's on there. You can't really take it off easily. You know, as far as switching it to another gun, using it on two guns, you know, well, you know, during shooting would not be very practical. You're going to need one for each weapon you plan on using. So anyway, that's the deal. I suppose, like I say, it's not bad for the type of unit that it is, this Picatinny rail deal, but like I say, I'm not super wild about the way it fits on here. It is low profile. I guess I'm just repeating myself now, but the laser's bright enough on it. Just be careful with those little teeny screws. If that little screw comes out of the battery cover, then the battery cover is going to fall off. There's nothing holding it on. And your batteries are going to end up on the ground when you're firing your gun. So he says they're not having trouble with that coming off, but you know, if that screw comes out, it is going to come off. There's no doubt about that. So that's the bottom line. Little Stingray SR1 and my new video camera, which also is not the greatest for video. I knew that when I bought it. This camera is really for still images. This is a point and shoot camera that will take still images that are in the DSLR quality range, but the video on it is not the greatest. I knew that when I bought it. So anyhow, thanks for watching. That's the little Armalaser SR1 initial observations. Thanks for watching.